Hello everybody, today is just a little chill, quick thing. So if you read the title, I'm going to show you how to make some of these simple little train things, and maybe also, if I have time, a couple other things that are useful. So, first off, as implied by the name, Quickie Rail is something that can be placed down really quickly. As you can see, I have a couple of them right here, which really effective and actually helped me complete my whole train line. So, what you're gonna want to do first is pull out your Mk1 blueprint designer. There's a creature. Oh, that's stupid bird. So you're gonna wanna there we go. Put it right here. So it's simple design. First thing you have to really do is just pull out this.
I'm not sure this is an improvement.
Might actually want to center it because I think. Let's just press H. Okay, I think that's perfectly centered. And then once you got centered, you put it down and then just instantly place a big pillar frame. The next step might seem a little weird, but you're gonna put this foundation and just snap it there. So the next step is you're gonna nudge it just like one nudge from being halfway so that it's still relatively concise, and then you put another one and snap it, and then just do the same thing, pull it in so it overlaps a little bit. And because we're using the half foundations made out of asphalt, you won't really see much Z fighting as clearly here. You can barely tell it still is happening, but it's barely noticeable. Then what you want to do next is you want to put down two more half foundations, and then on the edge of each half foundation you want to start a rail going from there all the way to the edge. There. And then you just repeat that right over here. And make sure the rails are far enough from each other, like that. So then you can remove these, but just keep the center two. And then that's basically the whole blueprint, with one little exception where we need to put on the little painted beams. And make sure it's 5.675, I believe. 5.657. Yeah, and then you just want, there we go. That is weird. .695. There we go. And then come on, okay. 5.695, and then that's basically the whole blueprint. But I'm pretty sure you actually might want to push those a little bit further in, right? Yeah, so you actually don't want to put it right on the corner. Put it next to the corner, but not right on that corner. Because if you put it right on that corner, then it just looks weird. But if you But right where I'm putting it, it makes it not so bad. What's that? That's Quickie Rail. You can do other things to Quickie Rail as well. So there's this Quickie Rail with stairs. Then we have the Quickie Rail with a Hypertube connection on it. So if you can see that, might actually put example here. No, Hypertubes aren't connecting. You'd think the Hypertubes would connect. That's a little bit of an oversight. But yeah, you can do that, and that's pretty much... that's the Quickie Rail. So yeah, real quickly, you can also... okay. More essential ones would be like pipelines. So, you know, standard pipeline highways where you would probably use something like stackable pipelines, and then just layer them next to each other. For good measure, like put a 3x4 is usually my go-to, because 3x4 is pretty consistent for at least the fluid needs of most of my facilities. And let's see, I think right there. And then, obviously, there's the Mark 1, but then also, you need to remember there's also Mark 2 variants. So, taking off of what I said previously, you know, Mark 1 and Mark 2s will probably have their own variants. I apologize for that weird cut, as something happened while initially recording the first part that kind of messed with it. What is going on? But yeah, so Mark 1s kind of need their own thing. Mark 2s also kind of need their own thing. So what you would kind of do, just for the Mark 1s, is, you know, this. And then you would go into Blueprint Designer. And then you would name that Mark 1 pipes. And then, you know, set directory, which is actually a pretty cool thing. Need to actually edit this real quick. Let's call this subcategory logistics, and then add the blueprint there. And then I need it. Yep. Mark 1 pipes, select color. Let's make this fix it primary. So that's legit. That's the logistic color now. Buildings, probably gonna pipe. And then select the clean Mark 1 pipe. Save the blueprint. And then, quick way to make a second one is just to delete what's here. Or upgrade it. I'm just deleting it because I started, so I'm gonna finish that. And then you just add the Mark 2s. And just, you know, clip them in place. Once they're in place, You just pop back in here, call it Mark 2, change the icon a little bit. So then you just click the Mark 2 and then select a new directory and put the blueprint right there. So, and then you just save the blueprint, clear the designer. That's all you need to do. Of course, you can do the same thing with like with belts, you know. But for belts, generally, you don't want to make a Mark 1 and Mark 2 variant. You just want to make the highest one that you currently have and then keep updating it, because belts don't matter as much as pipes, because pipes actually are slightly more annoying. So, with all that being said, those are like the two main blueprint type, or three main blueprint types if you include belts, which are easy, that you might want to consider using more in 1.1, as it will be more efficient for your factory. And with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video, and bye bye.